I just want to take the time out to share an article regarding gun control. This article that happened in Glendale, Arizona, where a smoke shop, there was attempted robbery at a smoke shop in Glendale, Arizona. Now, I watched the video. I didn't post the video on this site, but I watched the video. And watching that video, I could not help but to think of myself because I'm self-employed. And I recall a few times when I was about to close a store and some suspected criminals came in the store. And the only thing that deterred them was they became aware that I was armed. And maybe I'll share that story at the end of this video. But no one should be supporting gun control. However, you should be supporting the criminals being held responsible for their own actions and for the choices that they make themselves. Okay? Now, I'm going to read this article for you. Shooting outside of Glendale smoke shop was in self-defense, store owner says. Now, when you watch the video, if you happen to come across that video, as a matter of fact, you can look it up for yourself and watch that video. Because like I said, I couldn't help but to see myself wrestling someone that's trying to rob me in the store. And if you notice, if you go and look that video up, if you notice, the police is nowhere in sight. There is no one there to protect this guy but himself. But yet, a lot of y'all are talking about gun control. We need more gun control when they're releasing criminals, violent criminals, back into the street. And it makes no sense to me. You should be able to have the right to defend yourself and your family. So it says Glendale, Arizona. Glendale detectives are investigating after a man was shot multiple times outside a smoke shop late Thursday night. The shooting was reported on April 6 at 11:45 p.m. at a strip mall near 65th Avenue in Glendale. It says the owner of the smoke shop says his store was just about to close when an armed man came inside and wrestled his employee to the ground. The employee, who also had a gun in his waistband, shot the man in the leg, Muslik said. The man responded by pointing a gun at the clerk's head. He had no time to do anything. He was literally attacked at the front door, Muslik said. He was attacked at the front door. And like I said, look up the video and watch how this man was wrestling for his life. And there was no police in sight at all. The unknown man reportedly managed to take the employee's gun and ran outside, pointing both weapons at him. Muslik then claimed that the clerk grabbed another gun they had on hand at the store and shot the man outside. And then the quote says, "Do you wait to see what he's gonna do? Not necessarily. We're talking about life or death here," Muslik said. The man who was shot was hospitalized in life-threatening conditions. Okay? And then it says, Muslik says his employee was detained that night, and he was frustrated by it because he was acting in self-defense. "My employee is okay. Hopefully the guy will be okay. But we had somebody come and threaten someone's life, and we defended ourselves," Muslik said. He took whatever precautions he needed to make sure he walked away that night. Police have yet to release updates on this shooting investigation. And then it gives the location of the smoke shop. And there's a photo of the smoke shop and the two men that are wrestling here. Okay, so me sitting there watching that just brought back memories when I was in my store. And about 10:30 at night, when I was about to close, I saw these three men approaching my store. Now, when you're in business, you kind of develop a sixth sense. And in many times you can tell what's going to happen once that person comes in your store. You kind of like have this feeling or this vibe from the people. So two dudes came in, another one stood outside. He was the lookout man. So two guys came in the store. One stood by the door. The other one came in, of course, trying to distract me, was saying like, wow, I've never been in the store. And he's looking around. He's looking for cameras. He's looking at the back door, like in my storage area. And I'm watching him now. In my case, in the glass case, I had a firearm because I'm licensed to carry and conceal. Behind the counter, I had a Mossberg, a shotgun. On the wall, I had 3 signs. One says protected by a shotgun 4 nights a week. You guess which 4 nights. Another one says I don't dial 911, and then it had the image of a 45 pointing. Okay, so he looked up, he saw the signs, and then he looked down, he saw the shotgun, and he said to me, he said, would you really shoot someone? And I looked at him and I said, you know, I had a picture of my sons on the wall and they were young. And I pointed at that picture and I said, you see these 2 young boys right here? I said, these are my 2 sons. I'm going home to them. I said, so if anyone comes in here with the motive and intent to rob me and to harm me, I said, after how was that I said to them? I said, after they carry out the body, all I have to do is clean up the chunks of flesh and the blood. And he stood there like a deer with his eyes caught in the headlight. He was just gazing, like he was thinking. And I looked back at him. I just stared at him. And he says, oh, okay, well, yeah, let me get this. And he bought a couple of things. He and the guy then left. About an hour and a half to 2 hours, I heard there were 2 places that were robbed, Direct Sub and then a wing shop, you know, that sell chicken wings, pizza and wings. They were robbed. And the wing shop, I knew the guy that was the cook. And they were telling me about how, you know, Willie was behind the counter. He was ducking and dodging. And the same description they had given was the same description of the guys that came in my store. So what deterred them was the fact that I was armed. But see, they had no idea that behind the counter, I had a 45. And I was ready. I positioned myself where I'm able, if I see any type of movement, I was in a position where I could defend myself. Okay? So they left and they robbed 2 other places. So it's really important, man, for citizens, legal citizens, to be armed, okay? And no one should be supporting gun control because the Second Amendment gives us the right to defend ourselves. And when you watch that video, if you watch that video, you would see that the police was nowhere in sight. There was no one there to help this man but himself. And luckily, they had an extra firearm in the smoke shop. Okay, so I'm glad that the guy walked away. I don't have any type of sympathy for the person that tried to rob them. I don't like thieves at all. Okay, so I'm not going to hope that everything is going to be okay with him because he had no business going in there, you know, trying to take the life of someone. That store clerk, he has a family too. And only God above knows he's got children that's dependent on their father to come home. and he threatened this man's life. Okay, so I don't think any American citizen should ever support gun control, because gun control is not for your benefit, and especially the so-called black Americans. No black person should ever support gun control. You up there, and I hear everybody talking about what's happening in Mississippi, and these Democrats were whatever, they're going through a lot of problems because of the fact they were standing up for gun control. I don't support that, because you taking away legal citizens' rights to defend themselves. When gun control was never an issue, when tractor trailers full of firearms were placed in the black community, how they flooded the black community with guns, with illegal guns, to take the lives of each other. They didn't talk about gun control in Chicago. They didn't talk about gun control in LA. They didn't talk about gun control in New York and in other parts of the United States. It only became an issue when schools with white children were threatened. When it comes to the shooting of that black church, Dylan Roof, the police took him out to McDonald's, I believe, or was it Burger King? See? And when it comes to the shooting in Buffalo, Biden didn't even stand up to speak out against it. See, so gun control is not in favor of blacks. So I don't know why black Americans, and they always use black faces to push their agenda. When it comes to the abortions, they put black people in front. When it comes to the LGBTQ, they put black people in front. Whenever they want to push an agenda, they put black people. They sent Kamala Harris and Obama to Africa. But yet when it comes to the Middle East, where they have, death sentence for people that's rainbow, right? They don't mess with other nations. But they're going to Africa trying to push the LGBTQ agenda on them and threatening to not send them supplies if they don't support it. So black people should not be supporting gun control, but you should be supporting the illegal guns that's in your communities, that's taking the lives of your brothers and your sisters and your nephews and your cousins, your loved ones, your family members, your friends. See, I guarantee you those same Democrats that were let go in Mississippi that was protesting, I guarantee you in their own neighborhood, if one of their close friends were gunned down, guess what they would say? I don't snitch. Their mouth would be sealed. They would not be talking about trying to find the person or even pointing out the person that actually committed the murder. They'll start talking about no snitching. But yet when it comes to Biden's agenda, the Democrats' agenda to disarm legal citizens, now you're standing up there with your fist up in the air, that black power fist, talking about gun control. But gun control is not for black people. It don't benefit black people. Disarming legal citizens hurt black people. So I don't know why black folks in America support gun control. You should not support gun control. And as you see, this young man that had the firearm, that had his gun taken from him, luckily he had another one. So when they start talking about you don't need that many rounds to defend yourself, well, the criminals come prepared and you're going to be unprepared because you're restricted on how many rounds you can carry in that firearm. So this is unfortunate. Like I said, there was a couple of times, like for example, this one night I was getting ready to close and this dude came in Black hoodie on, black pants, had a mask on, and he had a hoodie on. And he walked in the store with his hands in his pocket backwards. When he turned around, that shotgun was in his face. And he lost all strength in his legs and ended up on his knees. To my, no, man, don't shoot me. You don't come in here like that. So you have to be ready, man. So I'm glad that everything worked out for the store owner or the store clerk, and his life was spared. I care nothing about the criminal that was shot. So no sound American need to support gun control. No black person should support gun control. And stop holding up the black power fist, because there's no power in the black community being disarmed. You're a legal citizen. You're paying your taxes. You're doing what's right. You should have a right to defend yourself and your family in and outside the home. There should no restrictions be placed upon you. So feedback, tell me what you think. Until next time. I'm fearless.